I get a lot of questions about how do you run fast at your age? How do you sprint so fast? Or how fast do you run? Guys, I am a two-time Olympic sprinter and I got my personal best in the 400-meter hurdles last year at the age of 36 years old, right? And what I've learned over the past year is that sprinting is not just for young folks, guys. You can sprint at any age, you can get fast at any age. It's just about how you structure your training. So today we're going to talk about how I structure my training to be as fast as I can. So stay tuned. A big part of me being so consistent as an older athlete is waking up at this time of the morning, coming out here, training when everybody else is sleeping, right? It's a lot of consistency and small little steps every day that got me to the big goal that you guys. So a part of how I sprint fast is doing plyos every day. So I sprinkle plyometrics into my training 4 to 5 days a week. That's how I help to stay elasticy, stay bouncy. And sprinting is not just for young folks. There's no age limit on how fast you could go. It's all about consistent training. Shit, that boy going. Oh, I thought he was going again. So what I try to do is break down aspects of training. Like for example, if I know my acceleration needs work, I work on my acceleration. If I know my hurdles need work, I work on my hurdles, right? I don't just come to the track and do a random workout. Everything is specific, everything is technical. Bombo clat. When we think about hitting peak performance at the right time, it's all about structure, right? So that is the main thing you want to focus on. If you are a beginner sprinter or a younger sprinter, let's go, right? Or even an advanced sprinter to improve. You have to make sure that you have structure in your training. You're not just doing random workouts. Everything needs to be planned out. Everything needs to be prepared for you to run fast. So that is the first step. That's the first thing that I make sure that I do to help me to sprint as fast as I can at my age. And I did all of this as a full-time coach running a track club, helping other athletes get to peak performance. Right? It's all about structure. It's all about how you plan your work. The key takeaway I want you guys to understand here is that I don't train more than I used to. If anything, I'm training less than I used to. Like I remember being in programs, for example, being on there at MVP in Jamaica. This is one of the biggest clubs in Jamaica. I was training way harder but running slower. Even when I made the move and went to America and went to university in America, granted, I did gain experience by competing a lot more, but the point I'm trying to make here is I don't train harder now. If anything, I was training harder in the past. Now I focus more on training smarter. When I say smarter, I mean every training session has a purpose. There's no random workouts. I'm not just showing up to the track and doing a workout because it's training day. Everything is with a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. Everything is planned out, methodical, and has a purpose. So when we think about acceleration and when we think about speed endurance and max velocity sprinting, those are going to be the three key things for me as a sprinter to help me to improve. And what I tried to do is make sure that each training session is focus on quality over quantity. And that's one of the major keys that helped me to become the athlete I am today. And that's how I model my training. I don't just give athletes random workouts. Everything is tailored. And when we think about performance, everything is by the book. Everything is okay. What's the athlete's strength and weakness? What's my strength and my weakness? How can I maximize on my strengths and work on my weakness to help me to become the best athlete? And it's all about putting myself in the right environment to do this. And how I do this is by remaining steadfast every single day.
As you guys know, I'm Rockstar Kato's wife, and I get to see behind the scenes of what he does to help with recovery and to help prioritize his performance. Because when you train, it's only a small percentage, especially if you've been training your whole life, since you started the sport. It's all like it becomes muscle memory. A small percentage of it is technical improvements. Keeping, like your fast twitch muscle fibers is almost like just keeping your conditioning, but the real work is outside of the track, which you guys are going to see in the next portion of this video. How he eats, how he recovers, his recovery routine, and most importantly his sleep. This is just a sneak peek at what he does.
85% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. So my goal with this YouTube channel is to inspire you guys to become the best athletes you could be. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go and subscribe now. Share the video with somebody who you think will find this information valuable. And I promise you I will continue to come to you guys with more informative videos. So a lot of times when you're an older sprinter, you feel out of place, right? You feel like you shouldn't be doing this. Your time has come and gone, like, or sometimes you feel like you're not good enough. These are things that I battled with. These are things that I had to overcome to help me to become the person I am today and help me to just push past my limits and become a better sprinter. So a lot of times it's gonna take a lot, especially when you think about your mindset. You have to be very resilient. You have to have lots of self-confidence, and also you have to have fun with what you're doing, right? You can't just let other people say you can't do something and you believe it. You have to believe in yourself and trust your process and know why you're doing what you're doing, right? That's a part of what's going to help you to run as fast as you can. My high school coach, not my high school coach, my university coach used to always tell me that track and field and sprint performance is 5% muscle memory, meaning once you get in shape and you're at a certain level and you're healthy, you will run fast in structured training. The other 95% is your mindset and your lifestyle. Like, what type of life are you living? What's your mindset like? What type of story are you telling yourself? And as an older sprinter, I've heard things like, why you still running? Why you still in the sport? Why you still doing this? Wagwan old man, like things like those, right? And it plays a role in how you perform too, because if every time you step out on the track or you go to a track meet, people are calling you old, or they're like, yo, why are you still running? Your time has come and gone. You're going to lose confidence in yourself, right? So you have to learn how to not put yourself in those positions and stay away from people like that who are going to project their fears onto you. So it's all about your mindset. That's going to be a big part of what's going to help you to perform your best as an athlete. And again, man, if you're in the sport because you love it, don't worry about what other people are saying or what other people have to say. You just do it because you love it, and you show up every day and you get the work done and watch the results come to you easily, right? I'm speaking as somebody who made 2 Olympic teams like years ago. I made the 2016 Olympic team and then hasn't made the Jamaica team since. And I didn't give up. I just kept training. I kept believing in myself. Luckily, I met my wife at the track, and she's somebody who believed in me and thought I was not done and I had more in the tank. And that gave me self-confidence as well. So that's another point I want to touch on. You have to make sure whosoever you're surrounding yourself with, if they don't believe in you what you're doing or your abilities. You listen, but you just keep them at a distance if you can't avoid them. But at the same time, they're they shouldn't be the determining factor in whether or not you pursue sprinting or continue to sprint. Right. So a part of sprinting fast is having a structured strength training program. So let's walk through what I do in a daily strength training program to get me to run fast at my age. Yeah, this is a great exercise that you could add to your workout, right? And because it's a compound movement, you get to hit your full body, and on top of that, you could progress it all season, right? Okay, baby. Explain to us why we do deadlifts. Why are deadlifts so important as a sprinter?
Deadlifts is straight up one of the best exercises for hip strength and um, hamstring, back, the whole posterior chain, which is where sprinting is driven from.
Ooh. Like my training partner said, this is a great exercise to activate glutes, hamstring. There we go. Up.
One.
But sprinting fast at my age is
Two.
structured training.
Three.
And your strength training has to be structured.
Four.
Right? And you have to be lifting
Five.
at least 2 to 3 days per week.
The big boy.
7. 8.
Big weights. It's all about consistent strength training. You want to make sure that You want to make sure that you're adding at least 2 lift days per week and be very consistent with your lifting if you're trying to improve as a sprinter, especially as an older sprinter. You have to be very specific with your strength training. You can't just go in there and do random exercises you see on the internet. It has to be very specific to your needs. Like, I find that my hamstring flexibility is not as good, so I make sure I incorporate some type of exercise where I'm hitting the hamstrings, I'm hitting the glutes, I'm hitting the lower back. Those are the things that's going to help me.
When it comes to strength training, it's like Coach said, it's got to be balanced and it's got to fit in line with your goals at that time. And for us sprinters, it's about running fast, moving weight that's heavy at a fast rate, and with good movement, using your hips. All these things come together to make sprinters complete. So, it's got to be a structured program. You can't, like your coach said, you can't just find things online and try and do it yourself and expect to run fast. It's got to be scheduled. It's got to be structured.
Yeah, so you got to be able to periodize it so it could last throughout the season for the best results. And that's how we do it.
Because there's no point in being strong at one point of the year and then try and run fast. And all that work that you do, speaking from experience, didn't mean anything. So it's all about smart work as opposed to just doing the work.
Facts. Like I was saying, when I think about strength training or training in general, it's all about structure. So the biggest thing you want to think about as a sprinter is how can I stretch my training out throughout the whole year so I don't get hurt, so I can perform to the best of my abilities and keep showing up day after day to get the results you want, right? And the first thing you want to do is when you're at the track, you want to make sure that you have some form of structured sprint training. And then when you hit the gym, you want the same thing. You need structure in the gym. So the point I'm trying to get at here, as a sprinter, you got to make sure that you're training with structure. Don't just do random workouts at different times and think that's going to get you to sprint as fast as you can. And even as an older sprinter, you have to, especially as an older sprinter, you have to make sure that your training is structured and you are periodizing your training for maximum results. So this is where we're going to end it off at when we think about strength training. Now let's move on to how I fuel for performance.
So we're doing overhead press, and a lot of people underestimate the importance of upper body strength for sprinting. I really feel it, especially at the end of the 400 when my legs are giving out and I feel like my arms are what's carrying me to the finish line and helping me with my gaining power from each stride. You need your upper body. So the stronger your upper body is, the faster you'll run too. I dropped the mic. But yeah, we're doing overhead presses. And yeah, it's important to strength train as a sprinter because your strength, even if you're naturally like fast or you've always been an athlete, when you get stronger muscles and train those fast twitch muscle fibers, you'll be able to gain more from with less effort from each stride, which is going to allow you to run faster with less effort. So you can last the longest, especially in that 400 at the end. It's just really like who's the strongest mentally and physically.
Facts. What happened to the clip?
So this is a part of training that a lot of athletes overlooked. When we think about recovering after training and fueling for performance and feeling your best, you have to make sure that you're eating properly. You have to make sure that you're eating organic food. I myself like to eat 95% of my meals at home. That's what keeps me going. When I'm running my best, I'm not eating out every day. Actually, I'm prepping my food. I'm preparing most of my meals myself. And that's what gives me an advantage over all other athletes, even younger athletes. Because when I see young athletes, I laugh and I'm like, okay, you will never beat me if all you have for dinner is McDonald's or all you do is eat fast food and Skittles and crap like that. And you will never beat me in a race. And that's a part of the process that keeps me going. When I think about how I used to eat when I was younger as an athlete and in my 20s, I changed that whole method up where now I'm focused on more whole foods. I'm focused on more nutritious, dense foods. I'm not just eating fast food or oily foods or just junk food in general. All my meals are thought out, they're planned out, they're structured just like I would for my strength training or I would for my sprint training, right? Technically, how you eat is how you're going to perform. This is a part of training. This is a big part of how I perform as an athlete. So today I have whole grain bread and then I have eggs. This is my usual typical breakfast. I have eggs and some form of chicken sausage. So what I'm thinking about when I'm having my meals, I'm thinking about proteins. I'm thinking about proteins and some form of carb, right? Because as a sprinter, as an athlete, you need carb. That's your main source of fuel, but you don't want to overdo your carbs. You want to make sure you have a balance. And somebody like me, I only eat 2 meals per day. So both my meals are very huge. It's different for everybody, but the main takeaway here is to make sure that you're having some form of nutrition dense food every day and structure your meal just like how you would structure a workout to get the best results.
When I was younger, I was able to get away with not recovering or skipping recovery or just not stretching after practice, not focusing on downtime, not, doing low intensity work or prep work to help me to become a better athlete. And I find that since I've taken those things more seriously, where I'm hitting the pool instead of like running at the track every day, and I have 4 structured days where I show up to the track and these are my dedicated days at the track and I get the work in there. But on my days off, I'm making sure that I'm doing some form of active rest, low impact stuff. And you don't want to just jump in an ice bath or go do a hot bath. You want to make sure that you're doing contrast recovery. You want to make sure that you're getting a little bit of both. You want to make sure that we're focusing on, it's almost like you're doing hybrid type of training, right? That's how I look at it, where I'm not locked into just, okay, I'm at the track sprinting. I'm thinking about other ways of helping to enhance recovery that's low impact and that's going to help me to become the best athlete I can be. So this is also one of the major keys of how I've improved my times over the years, and I've done this by locking in on my recovery, treating recovery like it's actually a training session. So when we think about training, we have to approach it from the aspect of structure. It's an overall structured plan, including what you do at the track, what you do at the gym, what you do outside of the track and the gym, that's going to give you the results that you need. And I'm speaking to you as somebody who has a structure, right? I found that when I set up my plan and I know exactly what my workouts are going to be for the week, and I know when my first track meet is, and I know how far out my first track meet is, I have a better understanding of how to spread my training out to get maximum results. So if you are somebody who's interested in training and you're looking to improve, or you're just looking for structure as an athlete or as an older athlete, and you're just looking for structure, reach out to me. I also run an online personal training business and an online sprint training business where I help athletes all over the world to reach their full potential. I'm currently opening up some slots to take on people who are serious about training. So if you are somebody who is genuinely serious about training and you're looking for structure, you came to the right page. I also have an app that I post all workouts on. This is where we're going to be communicating on. This is a one-stop shop for communication. I post videos on there, video demonstration of all exercises. I post all sprint related information on here. So this is early access. So if you're interested, leave a comment under this video or reach out to me via email and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And until the next video here, it's Rockstar Kato and I'm out.
And you know I'm running back. I want all the noise on the track, running laps, yeah. Like I'm Rock Troy, I'm living fast, switching lanes.